What's up, y'all? How are we doing this week? Spinny, what's going on, man? What the hell is your bio about? Or your
You'll have to
headline, I
figure
should
that
say.
out later.
Just
You'll
kidding. I
have to
already know
figure
what
that
it
out
is.
later.
Spin
We're
Dog
just in,
Millionaire, though, huh? I'm
yeah,
more
we're just in our
interested in
nerd
hearing
era today. We're in our
your
Clark Kent
nerd
era. We
era.
got the glasses on. We got Spin Dog Millionaire going. So we're ready to go today. Let's get it. Let's get after it today, y'all. You ready, Bus, or what?
Hey, you already know I'm ready for episode 88. Come on now. Marvin Harrison episode. Let's get
The
it.
Marvin Harrison episode, huh? You like
Yeah.
that? You
Well,
got anybody else?
Tony Gonzalez?
Tony Gonzalez. That's one I brought as well. You
I was just
taking you
trying to,
taking Marvin over Tony G?
I mean, that's my guy. Come on.
Yeah.
I,
Second
I,
best
I
receiver in
have
the
to.
Colts dynasty would be your guy.
I was
I
gonna
get
say
you.
I have to shout out Marv after not shouting out Reggie Wayne last week. He gave me
Yeah,
shit for
tough.
that, so it's only right.
Reggie over Marv anyway. Let's hear from Jack. Are we ready to go, Bus, or
It's a
what?
dance
Let's talk
party
about
today.
these crazy
Let's
sports
get it.
week we had.
Oh, we listen to music
Man,
again. That
we
works
listened to
too.
the music again almost. Sorry.
Shout out Jack. Appreciate you. Headlines, bro. So many of them. It's been a wild couple days in the sports world. Let's start kind of local. D2 basketball. Shout out to MSU, Minnesota State University, and Morehead State University as well. Both those teams reached number one here in this last week or two.
What do you
Unfortunately,
mean
both.
both of them?
I was getting to it. Both, unfortunately, did lose. So Morehead was number one. They lost right away. Next week's rankings came out. MSU went up to one. They lost right away. Um, so I just wanted to shout them out. I think reaching number one in the country is crazy, especially two teams from Minnesota. That's wild. So shout out to those two programs. And Minot State coming in. They're the team that beat MSU when they were number one. They are now ranked 16th. Morehead has dropped to third. MSU is fifth. So we got three almost top 15, three top 16 teams in Division two men's basketball this year. So shout out to those programs for balling out. In other
It's
college basketball
NSIC
news,
behavior.
yeah,
All
that's
this
what that's what the
NSIC
NSIC be
behavior.
doing. Absolutely. Other college basketball news. Shout out to Tara Van Der Veer. Sorry, it's a
There we go.
mouthful. Setting the all-time wins record. She passed Coach K. She is, get this, Spinny, 1,203 and 267 is her record. 1,203 wins, 267 losses, almost 1,000 more wins than losses. That is absolutely ridiculous. 38 seasons for her, 13 Final Fours, 3 national championships, 27 Pac 12 regular season titles in her 38 years, and 14 tournament championships. 5-time National Coach of the Year, and also a Naismith Hall of Fame inductee back in 2011. You know you're a legit coach if you're inducted while you're still coaching.
And for now, it's at like 12 years, 13 years since she's been inducted and she's still coaching.
Yeah,
That's wild.
wild. So shout out to her. That's an amazing record, and she's going to keep pounding on those wins, man. It might be something that we never see touched again.
Love it.
NBA. Now we're jumping to the NBA. Spinny, man, Monday was absurd. I just want to comment on Monday in the NBA.
Yeah.
That
Monday went
was,
wild.
yeah, we're used to seeing these wild games here in January and February. People just all pop off. Last year, I remember the same thing happened around this time too. And Embiid, as we all know, went for 70 and 18. Like what? That was absolutely unreal. Sure, he shot 20. Like I'm gonna give him his flowers for this. I hate on Embiid on this pod so much. I'll give him his flowers. Sure, he shot 23 free throws or whatever, but the dude had like 45 field goal attempts. Like he was just getting buckets the whole game. Like it wasn't even your classic Embiid flopping bullshit. Like the dude was just unstoppable, as expected against the 8 and however many losses Spurs. So, but still.
Yeah, 70 is, I mean, KD's reaction in his press conference said it all.
Exactly.
70 is a wild thing for anybody in the NBA.
Let alone a 7-foot center.
Yeah.
Wild. Cat, as we know, scored 62, but we lost. We're not even gonna boast about that. All right. We lost to
One
the
for
shitty
nine
ass
in the
Hornets.
fourth. One for
Yeah.
nine in the fourth. That's tough.
Real tough. Giannis had a triple double, 31, 17, 10. Tatum and Brown, your boys, Spinny, they combined for 73 against the Luca led Mavericks, who had 33, 18, and 13. Massive triple double for Luca in the loss. And KD popped off for 43 and 8. So a lot of big showings on Monday. And it's right in time for All-Star game. These guys are trying to make a push for the All-Star weekend. And obviously, most of those guys are all locks, but
None of them care
here's what
about
it is.
that. Trying to win the
Right.
ship.
Spinny. We saw another trade, man. Another trade went down. Terry Rozier, highly coveted Terry Rozier. His name was out there in a lot of rumors as the deadline is looming here. Traded to the Heat for Kyle Lowry and a 2027 unprotected first. What are your thoughts on this, Spinny?
Another Celtics legend, Scary Terry. I love it. I think Miami fleeced him overall. A pick in 3 years that's going to be in the 20s at the worst, or at the best in the low 20s. So I think giving that up and a guy who maybe is a year or two beyond NBA relevance, um, and getting a guy that they needed that can just score the basketball, which is something that the Heat desperately need, probably their biggest weakness. And it's a guy that can stay on the court in crunch time. It's not that Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson that can't. You worry about defense the whole time. Terry's not a great defender, but he's at least average and put outable on the
At
court.
least athletic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was exactly what they needed. They finally got their ball handling score that can get buckets down the stretch in games. I'm just trying to think of like crunch time lineup here. You have Rozier and Hero. Um, who else do you think would be out there? Probably Caleb, and then obviously Jimmy and Bam. I'm
Yep.
assuming Caleb would be that fifth one. So that's pretty damn good crunch time lineup. Um, before I ask you this Celtics related question, let's jump to the other NBA news that we saw. Shockingly, at least to me, Adrian Griffin fired after the 30-13 start by the Bucks. Apparently, there was some locker room issues. Dame and Giannis mainly, they lost faith in him amongst all the issues they've had so far this season, which is wild to say given they are 30-13. So, like, yeah, they've had
Yeah.
their issues, but like you're still winning games,
Crazy
right?
situation overall. Athletic article by Shams and Sam Amick kind of detailing this whole thing. They've been updating it as they go. It's pretty crazy how it really has been the whole season. There have been offensive and defensive concerns from the Bucks players overall. They started off the season with that really aggressive defensive scheme, trying to keep Brook Lopez like playing up on the pick and roll and not in drop coverage, and that
Yep.
obviously does not uh is not the best for your players, right? I think it was a lot of the it seems like reading between the lines there was a lot of the this is my system, this is how we're going to play, and not let me adapt my system to best fit my players. On the defensive end with that, and on the offensive end we've seen it with Dame Lillard. Like he just hasn't been as efficient, hasn't looked as comfortable. um and there haven't been enough adjustments, enough putting him in different scenarios, putting him in different situations. It's just, again, it seems like the this is my offense, figure it out type situation from Adrian Griffin.
Yeah, I get everything that you're saying. I'm not saying I disagree, but I just have an issue with this from like the Giannis standpoint. Like this is the dude you handpicked this offseason. And now
Mm-hmm.
halfway through when you're 30-13 in this dude's first, this is a rookie head coach. Let's not forget. Like the guy should be allowed to make mistakes. This is the dude you went and handpicked. Now you're hiring Doc Rivers. Cool, right? You could have just hired Doc Rivers this offseason. Like why even go ahead with this rookie head coach for a team that's obviously trying to win right now? So I just have an issue with this is the second coach in a calendar year that Giannis has gotten fired. He wanted Bud out. He was ready for a new face in there. He handpicked Griffin, and now he wants Griffin out. So it's like, is Doc going to have to take the fall when they ultimately choke in the playoffs? Because obviously we know Doc's history of choking. It's probably going to happen. We're being honest.
Yeah, I understand that perspective. I think there was questions too about if we can't adjust throughout the season from week to week, how are we going to expect you to adjust minute
During the
to minute
playoffs.
in a playoff game?
Yeah, that's fair. That is
I
totally fair.
mean, at least with Joe Mazzulla, right? These were similar questions that players had with Mazzulla, I think, during points of last season. At least we saw improvement week to week and month to month and
Right.
game to game. I don't think we've
That's
seen
fair.
that from Adrian Griffin, and I think that's a big part of it too, as well as the Jimmy Haslam thing. I think him coming in and being one of the majority owners now, Browns owner. I think when he's getting that information from players and your guys that you want to keep the most are super upset, you just got to make a move. And the
Right.
whole reason you fired Bud and hired Adrian Griffin was to win championships. That's all it was about. Because Bud can have great regular season records and get you to the third round. I mean, he won a championship one year. I mean, but he's shown every single year he's getting you to the second or third round of the conference playoffs. Like, that's just what it is. So the only reason they made this change is to win championships. And
Yeah.
I just feel like they already knew that Adrian was not going to be capable of that.
Yeah. Those are all fair points. One last thing to like kind of counter, I would say is like, I thought it was funny that they were talking about the defensive issues, especially not being able to keep people out of the paint.
Yeah.
It's like you traded your best point of the attack defender this offseason for a guy who can't play defense at all. Spinny and I could go out there and score on Dame. Like the dude's not good at defense. What did you expect to happen? Obviously, people are going to get to the rim, and obviously, but that does come back to your point of the adjustments, right? You should be in drop coverage then. Why are you pressing all up there if you don't have this elite perimeter defender helping out? You know what I mean? Like that system could make sense if Drew was still on the team and you have Drew and Brooke, two guys pressuring the ball. That would make more sense. But I don't know. I thought it was too soon, but I do get it. Obviously, they're trying to win right now, this second.
Yeah.
So like, I
And
get it from that perspective.
we knew it was going to drop a little bit on defense with
Right.
Dame and
But
that
it's
whole
dropped a lot.
situation. But Bud had a top 5 defense every single season he was there for the last
Correct.
5. Last 5
Yeah.
seasons, top 5 defense. They're ranked 22nd right now, allowing 116 points per 100 possessions. So, like, yes, you can get worse, but you can't get that much worse. And then Giannis kind of said this as well. They didn't really have an identity on defense. They weren't like trying to stop him from shooting threes
That's
or
true.
trying
That
to
is
keep
true.
him out of the paint or trying to, it was just
Yeah.
like whatever. It was like there was no like, if we can at least stop this, we can be effective
Right.
type situation.
Right.
It was just kind of like no identity going on.
Yeah. More fair points there. So this ultimately leads to the question I want to ask you, Spinny, as a Celtics fan, after all this craziness, the Terry Rozier, Doc Rivers now joining the Bucks. Who are you most worried about in the Eastern Conference come playoff time? Is it the 76ers led by a guy who can apparently score 70 points as a 7-footer? Is it the Bucks with Doc Rivers? Or is it the Heat now adding their bucket getter, ball handling bucket getter that they've been desiring?
This is the easiest question you've ever asked me on this pod
It's the Heat, isn't it?
because yeah, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. Like
I'm just making sure.
Miami's the team that has shown they can go toe to toe with Boston in the playoffs and beat them. I'm not scared of the Sixers. I'm not. I've never been scared of them. Embiid's got to get past the second round before he scares me in the playoffs. And I don't like midseason coaching changes at all. And now you have a coach who I'm really not scared of in the playoffs in the last 10 years. So it's like check. But Eric Spoelstra against Joe Mazzulla, we saw how that went.
We did.
We see what Jimmy Butler can do in the playoffs. He's winning you at least 2 games, scoring 40 to 45. So now we got another guy who can drop 40 on your team, who can buy in and play defense, and it's Miami. You know how that's going to go, and Spoelstra's out coaching Mazzulla, and blah, 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 blah. And now it's Heat and 7. So
Not to mention
definitely Miami.
potentially healthy Tyler Hero. Like, he didn't even
Yeah.
play in that series last year either. So, all right, moving on. Next headline is related to my headline. Our man's is in, Spinny. Let's go. MLB Hall of Fame announced. Joe Mauer made it first ballot Hall of Famer. Shout out to our guy. Adrian Beltre and Todd Helton both got in as well. Shout out to those guys. Those guys were fun to watch when they were playing as well. Spinny, do you have any Joe Mauer memories you want to shout out? Mine is just like, mine's a cop out answer, but it's his MVP season because that was just
Yeah.
like the most absurd thing I've ever seen from a guy at the catcher position. Like, this dude batted like 360. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, in that era, mine might have been the batting title season when Morneau won the MVP.
That
And it
was
was
sick.
just
Yeah.
kind of like both those guys, and you just knew every time. Like, Mauer was getting on, and Morneau was going to absolutely hit it as far as possible. So that was probably my biggest memory was that season for me.
My favorite part of when they announce these Hall of Fame things, especially MLB, is when you finally get to watch the videos of the guys getting the call
Mm-hmm.
and they get so emotional and everything. Like, that just always hits home, and I
It
can't wait to see
is.
Joe Mauer's video whenever it comes out. It might already
Yeah.
be out, but I haven't seen it.
Especially the catcher rankings, like just
Right.
what he did as a catcher, you kind of knew he was going to be in. And
Yeah.
even though the MLB Hall of Fame is the Hall of Very Good, uh, it's cool to see a Twins player get in.
Right. All right. Last headline here. Today, Spinny, today this happened. Vic Fangio is leaving the Miami Dolphins and is likely to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is obviously going to cause a lot of issues for Miami because he's an elite defensive mind and got that defense rolling again this year. Obviously, was ended up being plagued by injuries. Can't hold that against Fangio. And the Eagles, they needed a guy like this bad, real bad. Now they got. I mean, that's a hell of an upgrade from whoever the hell they just had to Vic Fangio.
Yeah, I'm scared to see how Evangio defense is going to look with all the pressure up the middle they're going to be able to generate
Yep.
next year. I think that's going to be an issue for teams is the Vangio blitz is the thing, right? But like if he's getting pressure on you without blitzing and then you're throwing in the random exotic blitz, like it's gonna be wild. Vangio can do it all, and it might be one of the most talented defenses he's had. He had some pretty talented ones in
Right.
Denver, obviously, but like this defense is on that level, and you know that's where they're going in the draft as well. So you know they're pulling up guys there as well. So that really good hire. Not surprising by Roseman, but still not my favorite hire. Not my favorite.
Nah. Of course, he's got to go to the damn Eagles. Sweet. We love that. All right, Spinny. It's time. We're gonna talk NBA All Star Game now. Hardies and Hardos. We're gonna throw out our predictions for the starters and the reserves of both conferences. Starters are actually revealed tomorrow night, Thursday night this week. They will be revealed. The reserves are being revealed on February 1st. Okay. For those that don't know, we are back to the standard West versus East format this year. Standard game. So regular 12-minute quarters. Score's not going to reset or anything. They still will play each quarter for the charity, but the score will never reset. It's just going to be the regular game, like how it was. So, which I kind of like. I kind of like it going back to that, if I'm being
Do
honest.
you? I kind of liked it the other way.
I thought it was fun the players choose, like, being able to draft their team. I thought that was a
Yeah.
really cool aspect. So that being taken away kind of sucks.
I think
But like,
that might be a little bit of a tampering situation a little bit. I think there's something behind why they took that portion away. Just
right.
with we've seen like Giannis drafting
I
game
agree.
first
Yeah.
and the jokes between AD and Bron and so there was a lot of moments over the last 4 seasons of tampering.
Right. Yeah. Let's start with the West though, Spinny. West starters. We'll start with. We'll starters of both conferences and then reserves. There's 4 locks here, right? I think you agree with me based on the voting results, at least fan voting. Again, those for those that don't know, starters 50% fan vote, 25% media vote, 25% player vote. That's how the starters are decided. Your locks are Luka, Jokic, KD, and LeBron, who is captain. They still like pick the captain. There's obviously not going to be the draft though. So LeBron is your captain, most vote getters or most votes. And I'm going Shea. He was slightly behind Curry in the fan vote. I think he's going to get a ton of votes when it comes to the media and players, though. So that's why I had to put Shea in there ahead of Curry, a guy who's averaging 30 points per game on above 50% shooting. Absurd.
Yeah, I want Curry here. I think Curry is still doing a lot of things, and it's crazy.
I mean, he's the only
Oklahoma
guy on that team.
City, yeah, Oklahoma City is more talented than Golden State.
Is
Much more
that
talented,
wild?
which is
Way more talented.
Insane. So I think Curry might get a little bit of a edge there. Plus, the resume and all that, and we know how that all at least plays into it a little bit. But yeah,
Right.
I think those two is the argument here, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree. To the East, same situation here. We got 4 guys already locked in. It seems like Tyrese Halliburton, Giannis, who is the captain, most votes once again for Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Jason Tatum. So those 4 were expected anyways. So I'm glad the fans backed them up there. I'm going Spida with my 5th starter. He's kept the Cavs afloat. They've actually still have a decent record, even though playing basically this whole time without Mobley and Garland. So he's been
Yeah,
balling out too. He's got elite stats. I think that's why Spida gets this 5th start. Is that
yeah.
you too?
I went Mitchell too. Dame is tough because it feels like a down season for him, and so I don't feel like coaches are gonna go with that. And Trae Young, I still feel like D Mitch edges him just on how competitive the team has looked in comparison.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
and then if you want to go, I feel like Jimmy Butler also could be. Oh, it's got to be 2 guards, doesn't it? So it can't
Yeah.
even be Butler. All right, never mind. Those are the
So
guys. Those are the
it's pretty
guys.
much yeah, it's pretty much between Spida and Trey or Dame.
Yep.
Those 3 are fighting for this last starter for the East. West reserves. 2 guards, 3 front court, 2 wild cards. That's how they decide this. Like I said, the reserves are decided by coaches. All 30 coaches will vote on the reserves. My 2 guards, Curry and Ant. I'm assuming you have Shea. Do you have also Ant in the guard
I
spot?
have Ant and SGA.
Okay, so we are in agreement so far. My front court players is where we might get a little different here. I have AD, Sabonis, and Kawhi.
Both same 3 for
Okay,
me.
so we are in the
AD,
same.
Sabonis, and Kawhi.
I just think Sabonis leading the NBA in rebounds, shooting above 60%, 20, 13, and 8. I think he's averaging this year. Like, I just feel
I
like he's
think they
got to
give
be
him
in.
the slight nod over Fox this year.
Right. It's close. Yes, exactly. AD, I mean, that's a lock. He's a
That's
lock.
a
He's been
lock.
killing it this year. Kawhi, also a lock, in my opinion. This is where we get interesting.
Agreed.
The wild card. What are we looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 legit shots here for these 2 spots, if not 6 players.
Yeah.
Um, my 2, I went Booker and PG.
Man, we have the same reserves, huh? That's where I
You
went
went
to.
you went
I
Booker
went
and PG
Booker and
too.
PG. Yeah. Booker's stats have been unbelievable. PG's efficiency and shooting almost 40
Yes,
whatever 2% from 3 with
plus
the
the team record.
second most made threes. Both those guys are insane. Kawhi's shooting 44% from 3 and 54 from the field, and they're both averaging that 23 and a half a game.
Yep.
Like they're both locks.
Yeah, I their record is too good too. Like Clippers just they seem like they
And
deserve to have 2
and they're
All-Stars.
so close. Like
Right.
I just don't see one of them being in.
Exactly. No, I agree. This means we snubbed De'Aaron Fox.
Yep.
Like you already mentioned, it's going to be a toss-up between him and Sabonis, as it always is. Lowry Markkinen, who got in last year and has also been killing it so far, and Sengun. Those were like the ones that I just like really struggled to decide on. Sengun has been absolutely torching so far for the Rockets. Obviously, the next player would be Rudy or Cat, right?
Yep.
Our record is good enough to get 2 All-Stars, but based on just how I think the NBA views our team and especially those 2 guys, sadly, I think they're going to get snubbed for sure.
I agree. I it's tough, and obviously we've had, the best record most of the season. We're at second best record right now. I understand,
Right.
but we've been the best team in the West most of the season, so only to get one All-Star is pretty crazy. But I agree with you. I think it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Let's jump to the East. Also, by the way, before we say the East, shout out to the rookies, Wemby and Chet. They're just not going to get in because they're rookies, but they've obviously
Yeah,
been balling out. Any other season, they would be in contention for the All-Star game, especially Wemby, who's having like 3.5 blocks a game. Absurd.
agreed.
East, guards. I have
Train Dame.
Brunson, Trey and Dame. I put them as my wild cards. No
Ooh,
real difference, I guess.
yeah.
My guards are Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey.
And those are my two wild cards.
All right,
So we have
so
the
same
same four
thing.
guards.
Yeah,
Yep.
same thing. Front court then. I went Bam, Jalen Brown. This one, I think we finally will have a difference here. I don't know if you threw this guy in. I went Scotty Barnes.
Wow.
I went Scotty Barnes.
Okay, so
Oh, we were 2
I
for 3 there?
no, we were 1 for 3 there.
Okay. Okay.
I have Jalen Brown.
Yep.
But I have Jimmy over Bam.
Okay.
So I have Jimmy in over Bam, and I have Porzingis as my other All-Star reserve forward.
3. You think they're going to get 3?
I think they might get 3. I really do. I really
They
do.
could.
How well they've performed this year.
Right. They could.
I wanted to put Derek White in as that 3, but Porzingis has done it. He's done what we talked about. He's stayed healthy. He's been unbelievable on the defensive end, and his efficiency has been ridiculous. So I just don't see how at this point, where on a team where he's clearly been the third best player the whole season, like he has outperformed Drew Holiday 100% season to date. So
yeah. Easily.
I give huge credit to Porzingis. I mean, 19 and a half, 6.8 rebounds and 2 assists a game. His shooting splits are
What's his
52%,
blocks? About 2 blocks a game too as well?
52 and a half from the field, 35 from 3. He is at 2 blocks a game and 0.8 steals a game.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's tough. I have Derek White / Porzingis listed in my snubs category. I think both those guys have been having a solid year. I just don't know if they're going to get 3. I respect the
Yeah.
risk by you, and I totally understand your reasoning. Can't really argue against it, given how elite their win-loss record is so far, and especially considering they have such a good win-loss record, and half their losses they probably should have won.
Yeah.
Like the Wolves game when we beat the Celtics, they blew that
Yeah.
game. They should have won that game. So like they could have only like 4 losses right now.
And going between Bam and Porzingis, right? Bam 21 and 10. So obviously about 2 more points a game, and obviously the rebound numbers much better. Shooting 50% from the field, so a little worse than Porzingis, and obviously 10 like Bam doesn't shoot threes at all. And only 0.9 blocks a game to Porzingis is 1.9. So a whole block a game extra from Porzingis this year.
Yeah. I went Bam over Jimmy just because Jimmy's missed a ton of games so far this year. He's missed at least like 15 games. So I think that will play a factor into it.
Yeah,
and,
I mean Jimmy at 28 games played, Bam at 33. So like
it's not okay. So Bam's missed his fair share as well then.
Yeah. So like that's why I went slight Jimmy, because that number isn't too different.
Yeah. Really, I was debating on. Like I said, I like your Porzingis argument. I really wasn't considering him for that spot. I went Scotty Barnes. I was also considering Paulo and Julius Randle. Julius Randle statistically is close to his career highs and across the board. So I had to consider putting 2 Knicks in there. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. Scotty Barnes, let me just shout out his stat line here. Yeah. 20 points per game, 48% from the field, 37% from 3. I mean, this is a guy that wasn't supposed to be a shooter. He's almost flirting with 40, upper 30s. That's great. And 8.5 boards a game, 6 assists a game, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks. Yeah. So those are great numbers. I ultimately went him over like a guy like Paulo because he has better numbers across the board than Paulo, other than scoring. His percentages are higher, his rebounds higher, assists, blocks, steals, literally everything is higher than Paulo. that's why I had to go Scotty over him. And you obviously already know my Porzingis argument. So it's going to be a lot of guys snubbed. That's all I'm going to say. There's so much
Agreed.
talent in this NBA. When do we get to the point where they expand
I
the All
know.
Star
I do
roster?
think we're close to at least one or two more spots. I would love to see
Right.
two more spots both
Like
ways. But
why not have 14? Why not? Like
yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. We're gonna be so wrong about this.
yeah, I know.
It's gonna be really interesting though to see what coaches' opinions are and players and coaches
Facts.
and just kind of see like how much that actually is weighing in.
Yeah. Facts. I totally agree. Well, now we're gonna jump to NFL. Divisional round is over. We are on to the conference championship weekend. Let's start with the first game, Spinny. Ravens destroy Texans 34-10. It was tied 10-10 at halftime. Spinny, do you have any comments about this game? I was unable to watch it.
Playoff experience. I mean, Texans kept it close. In the first half, especially. I think it was 10-10 at halftime. And then Ravens D in the second half was just elite, absolutely elite. And then the run game started working for them. Lamar had a couple of good drives, especially the one in the third quarter. Then when he finished with that 15-yard run, that was a good drive. And then he missed that throw to Likely low, and then later he threw a touchdown to Likely. He missed a throw to Likely low. Likely pointed up after the play, and then the touchdown at the beginning of the fourth quarter was a lob pass to Likely in the front of the end zone. So nice improvement from the offense, and the defense just absolutely locked up. CJ Stroud, 19 for 33, 175, if that tells you anything.
The Ravens
Lamar,
players' pursuit to the ball is absurd, especially like Roquan Smith. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, they are flying around out there.
Ooh, we got breaking news live on
What is it?
Hardheaded.
What is it?
Jim Harbaugh has accepted a coaching job in the NFL. Which one is it? Guess.
I would assume, based on the report I saw yesterday, the Chargers.
The Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach of the
Wow.
Los Angeles Chargers. I wish we had
Wow.
Trevor on the pod right now.
He's freaking out.
He's freaking out.
Yeah.
He is absolutely freaking out. We love it.
Okay. We could actually see good Chargers team now. Ooh, interesting.
Maybe Justin
Hopefully.
Herbert and Jim Harbaugh.
That should work, right? You still got Kellen Moore as your
Yeah.
OC, like that should work.
Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, all in the AFC West, and the Raiders have Antonio Pierce. So
Wow.
wild.
That is absurd. I have one
Dogfight in
question
the
for
AFC
you though.
West.
Back to the Ravens game. One question before we jump to the next one. What do you think a Super Bowl appearance would mean for Lamar's legacy? Like, is this dude jumping all the way to like QB2 in the NFL? Like, what do you think?
He has to win, I think, to jump that far.
Okay.
I think.
What
I
about
think a Super
what about?
Bowl
Let's just stay at the appearance first. Yeah.
Appearance gets him at least in the Allen Burrow convo, right?
Like he's top 5 for sure. Then, right? Like,
yeah, he's probably. I'm still taking those guys. I think Super Bowl appearance. I'm still taking Mahomes. I'm still taking Burrow.
I'm taking Burrow
Allen,
too. I agree.
I'm taking Allen.
That's where it gets. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
I don't know if I'm taking Allen. Lamar, his ability to cut down his mistakes this year has been
Very impressive.
really cool to see, especially in an offense where he's throwing the ball so much. Really good. Yeah, I mean he's in that top 5 convo. Then that's where it puts him if he gets there.
Yeah, Monken's been absolutely killing it as the OC there for the Ravens.
Especially if he beats Patrick Mahomes, right? He's got to beat
Right.
Mahomes. If you beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, like, I mean, that's what Joe Burrow's ascension was, essentially.
And that's also why I feel like he has to go all the way to 3 if he beats him, right? Because like Allen hasn't beat Mahomes.
No.
So it's like he's got to go at least to 3. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he's automatically number 2, I guess, which is wild to think about.
I know, especially with the probable MVP. Like you're a Super Bowl champion, 2-time
that's what
MVP.
I meant too.
Like that's
right.
That's hollow ground right there.
Exactly. And he's what, 27 years old?
Yep. But
Niners.
No, Falcons shouldn't. No, Falcons.
No. Falcons, Commanders, Patriots, Colts.
No.
We don't want Lamar. We don't want him.
Way too bad. Way too bad of a quarterback to want.
Idiots. Niners, they escaped the Packers 24-21. Obviously, a big storyline from this game was the rookie kicker missing that field goal for the Packers. That was big. He was terrible all year. I was surprised they even went into the playoffs with him as their kicker. But I guess what are you going to do at that point in the season? Can't necessarily get anyone better, I guess. But I have a question for you related to the Niners.
Get it?
Was it the weather? Was it the 2-week layoff? The Packers are actually just a legit team, or just like a combination of all those reasons for why the Niners sucked in this game?
I think a little bit of all those reasons, but I think the main one though is the rain because Purdy played bad, but Purdy has not played good in the rain. In his rain games in the NFL, he has played terrible. So I think that had a little bit of a factor. But you got to give Purdy credit too because he also played he missed some open throws, some
Yeah, he did.
really open throws.
Yeah,
Um, but to come back with that drive and finish the game off with that W,
right.
I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. I would lean weather too, which is like I feel
Weird,
like that's
but
yeah, it's kind of like making excuses for him. But you try going out there and throwing a damn football in the rain. Like that's what I say to people that are like roasting him for sucking in the game. It's like, what do you expect?
yeah, no, I mean it's ridiculous.
Packers, man. We're gonna talk here about the Lions and Bucks here in a second, but this NFC North, man, I'm worried as a Vikings fan. This is a tough division going forward, dude. The Packers being as young as they are, Jordan Love actually looking legit. Detroit's obviously legit. The Bears with all these assets that they have,
Yep.
like knowing Chicago, they'll mismanage the assets,
Oh, of
just given
course they
their
will,
history. But I'm,
but if
I'm
they
worried
get
as a
Caleb
Vikings fan, man.
Williams,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not like, especially if they get a second for Fields too, and they're putting all that talent back in. It's just,
I'm worried.
ah,
I will be worried.
yeah, the Bears always find a way to screw it up though, so I won't be worried till I'm
Right.
worried.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Lions Bucks. 31-23 final score. Clean game for the Lions in terms of turnovers. That ended up being the difference. Bucks had two. Uh, both Baker Mayfield interceptions, I believe, right? He had two interceptions.
Yep.
Uh, as a Vikes fan, Spinny, do you feel happy for the Lions or are you pissed off about this playoff run?
Yeah, no, I mean I don't love it. I am okay with them getting their playoff win. I was fine with that. I understand that, but I was rooting for the Bucks in this game, especially Baker and just all he's been proven and everything. But Campbell's coached well. They've used their weapons. I mean, you got to give him credit for running a great offense, and they have a bunch of weapons. Sam Laporte is awesome. Sam
He is
Laporte is
so good.
awesome. He's
He is so
always
good.
open. He is always open in the middle of the field. We know what the cool thing about Jahmyr Gibbs is that he was not that good to start the season. And just seeing his improvement
Right.
from week to week throughout the season has been insane. And now he looks like Reggie Bush at USC in the NFL right now. So that's
He kind of
been
does, actually.
great for them. And Goff has done his job. He wasn't crazy in this game, but completed the passes he needed to. He was in that 300 yards. He had those couple touchdowns, so they did what they had to do. This will be the one for the Lions that is interesting. I just want to see if they can fit in this if they can get to the level that the Niners can get to at their best.
Right. Yeah, I agree. End the game though. So they run the first down play, right?
Yep.
Bulls doesn't call the timeout.
Yeah, that was
They
weird.
they go ahead and assume I'm a guess going in their minds was, oh, they're conceding.
Yeah.
They're calling it a game. So they kind of sped up these next couple plays. They hiked it a little sooner than they're supposed to. There was time on the clock. So why didn't he call the timeout at the
Yeah.
end of the game, forcing them to kick the field goal?
Literally, or punt it
Right?
or whatever, forcing them to do something. No, I
Did you
agree.
did you hear
I
his press
thought
conference too after the
no, I
game?
didn't.
He just said he's like, "Yeah, we already lost the game, so like no reason to prolong it." Like, what do you mean you
It's
lost
a
the game? Like,
playoff game.
It's a playoff game. Yeah,
It is
exactly.
interesting though. It is kind of a good strategy, right? What if like as a head coach in the future, if I'm in that situation, maybe I don't call my timeout the first play and like
Right.
see if that happens and then you get into that situation, quick timeout, and then you might get the ball back. I don't know. It could be used by a good head coach, by a strategic head coach in the future for an advantage.
Yeah, I agree. No, coaches are definitely going to be more aware of that and make sure their players are eating every second off that clock. That's for damn
Yep.
sure because they should have had to kick a field goal. Like like Todd, I get it's a long shot. They make it, you're definitely done. It's 11-point game. It's over.
Yep.
But what are the off chance you block the field goal and you return it for a touchdown? Like you really never know. Like
No.
you never
Yeah.
know. So I thought that was kind of crazy that he didn't call a timeout and then of course in the presser says, "Yeah, we already lost. Who cares?"
And it's
Like
the playoffs. You
it's
didn't
the
lose.
playoffs,
It's
man.
the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like anything could happen. You could drop that ball. You could make them play out as long as they can. As long as
yeah,
they, as long as you can make them.
exactly. Chiefs final game of the weekend. Chiefs beat the Bills 27-24. Mahomes gets it done again, man. What the hell? He had put to rest all those claims that he wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs on the road because he went in there, played really well. Checo had a great game on the ground as well, almost hit 100 yards. Um, Spinning. Every year as a starter, Mahomes has made the AFC Championship game. How absurd is that? Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that's what my headline is. I think Brady is MJ and Braun is Mahomes. I think we're getting to that pretty darn close to that point where, especially say Mahomes wins this year, right? We're talking 3 championships in 6 seasons, and the other two you lost in the AFC Championship game. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
unreal. And then the MVPs, the crazy arm, the 5,000 yards, the everything. It's like he's Peyton Manning and Tom Brady put together. It's the stats
so
and it's. Go ahead.
you don't think I'm crazy? I was gonna say like it's not crazy of me to put him number two all time if he wins the Super Bowl already. Is it?
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. I mean, it's
I don't think
obviously a
it
little
is.
hot. I think Joe
Right.
Montana, Stans, and Aikman and those 3 Super Bowl guys will get after you a little bit, but I watch the football. Patrick
Exactly.
Mahomes is better than those quarterbacks. Like
He's
if we're
he's
putting it up
unreal, dude.
there, I mean, so I don't
Did you?
I don't, like he has 3 Super Bowls and everything he started with. I still probably wouldn't say he's better than 5 MVP Peyton Manning either yet, but
Right.
I think there's those guys in there as well. But he's, barring something crazy, he's gonna get there if he
Yeah.
keeps this up,
Yeah.
and we have
Absolutely.
no reason to not believe it. It's been crazy. I never thought I was gonna be too scared in my lifetime about the Brady GOAT situation, but
Let's
you know,
go. I am a huge Mahomes stand now. Let's go. It's my only
no.
shot, Spinny. It's
I
my
know
only
that's why
shot.
Lamar needs to win on Sunday
No.
so bad.
Pat
So
Mahomes,
bad. Come
please.
on, Ravens. Come on, Ravens. Help me out here, boys. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Spinning though, Bill side of things, man. Wide right yet again. The Bills are
Ugh.
literally the Vikings of the AFC.
Yeah, I feel
100%.
bad for Tyler Bass. Can you imagine losing 4 straight Super Bowls? Losing
Four.
4 straight of
Four of
them.
them. Yeah.
You're just, oh, we feel you, Bills fans. We really
We are
feel
literally
you.
the
I
same
promise.
franchise.
I promise we feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is it Sean McDermott time? Is it time to
It's
cut
time,
your
man.
losses?
That's my opinion.
I
It's time.
and
Let's get
not
a new
he's been
face in there,
good.
man.
He's been
Yeah,
good.
right.
It's
Yes, for
Mike
sure.
Budenholzer, right? That's
Yes.
that's what Sean
Perfect
McDermott
metaphor.
is. Like it's
Yes.
just like he's been great. He's done good. It's over. The iteration of the Bills as they are. It's like we gotta just keep Josh, tear it down, start over again. I
Yes.
think I think
100%.
that's where we're at with them.
Yeah, and they say Belichick's had 2 interviews with the Falcons, right? And that's why I feel like he's maybe holding off. Like he wants to see like potentially if this Bills job opens up or something like that.
If he took the Bills job, bro,
How mad would that make you?
oh man. I mean, I would make me too mad, but
Like
People in
Patriots fans?
Boston would be
Yeah.
hot.
Oh my
Hot
god, that would be
about that.
so.
Wins the
That would be
Super Bowl with the
wild.
Bills. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's the other thing, right? Those are like, if you can win a Super Bowl with like Houston, Jacksonville, the Vikes, the Bills, like these are you're automatically in that. You can jump straight to that GOAT coach category. You can
Right.
jump straight to that like top 10, top 15 category, winning a Super
Yeah.
Bowl with one of those teams. So I think if you do that as Bill Belichick with the most wins of all time, with 6 Super Bowls, and then, or it would be 7 if you win with the Bills, like that's just goated goat. That's locked. That's locked in a box, put away, done for the quarter.
Right. Totally agree. But
Plus, I think Bill
he's
wants to do
obviously
one plus
ready to go.
Brady. Bill
He's
wants one
obviously
plus
ready to go,
Brady.
though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
probably. Don Shula has a pretty good argument.
he does. He does. But I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
He's gonna have the wins record here pretty soon. So,
true.
all right, let's talk about the conference championships now, huh? We will
Let's
go
do it.
first game, which is the AFC Championship, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Your home team Ravens are 3.5-point favorites against the Chiefs. Before we pick, what do you think the X factor is for both of these teams?
X factor for the Chiefs. X factor for both teams is line control. Who's
Exactly.
crazy awesome
Totally agree.
line is going to be better? Chiefs O line against Ravens D line. That
Yep.
matchup is going to be absolutely huge. And the other way too, but I think
Yeah,
more
other way
so
too, yeah.
with the Chiefs O line and production, because these are both great defenses. Don't sell the Chiefs defense short. They are great this year.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic defense. And that's been part of the thing too. It's the Patriots model. It's the amazing defense and maybe the giving up skill position players to keep that defense great, which I think is a recipe for winning. I'm gonna pick with my heart today on the Hard-Headed
So
Sports
you're picking the
Podcast.
Ravens.
We're gonna pick the Ravens. We're gonna pick against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. My dreaded thing I never want to do, and now I'm gonna watch this game, hating my life.
Cobalt!
But we're gonna pick with our heart. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see if we can curse Mahomes to not catch Brady. So we're gonna pick the Ravens.
Chiefs
My
win line of scrimmage.
AFC preseason Super Bowl pick.
Yeah,
I will
that's
say.
true.
My
That's
AFC preseason Super Bowl pick, Mr. Consistency here, sticking with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to stick with them. I forgot about that. That's a good point. But Chiefs, man, they're going to win the line of scrimmage battle. They are going to win this game on the back of Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs running it back to the Super Bowl once again. This is where I make up my ground, okay? Spinny has got 11-9 lead after this past weekend. The damn Texans had to ruin my +9 bet. It was looking so good at halftime. These games are worth 4 though now, Spinny. 4 points.
I know.
Okay. So you got Ravens, I got Chiefs. On to the NFC Championship game. 5:30 p.m. Your home Niners are 7-point favorites against the Lions. Kind of a cop-out answer, but is the X factor not the same exact thing we just talked about? Line of scrimmage battle? Can the Niners
Yeah,
pressure Jared Goff? Because no one's been doing it this playoff
I
run,
know.
right? I think that's it too. If they pressure, if they get to Jared Goff, he's going to end up making the mistake he will inevitably always makes. But so far this playoff run, we haven't seen Jared Goff get pressured like at all.
No,
So I really think that's the thing. And then obviously on the other side of the ball, you want to pressure Purdy, right? You want to make him make quick decisions and force things, right? So are they going to be able to get after him? Can Aiden Hutchinson get back there and put pressure on him consistently? I think that's it. Do you have a different answer?
No, that's my answer. I mean, Devo's health is my other answer.
That's true.
Devo playing
That is true.
in the game. Especially for Purdy, he's shown a big difference in his ability when Devo's there.
Here we go. We got a 34-minute ago update. Deebo Samuel, officially a non-participant at Wednesday's walkthrough, was seen working on the side and even did full-speed sprints during the portion of the session open to the media. So He is truly questionable. Looks like he will be a game time decision. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be a tough one, but those are the keys. I don't really have any faith in Detroit to win this game. I really don't. I think the spread's good. I think it's gonna be a touchdown, maybe 10-point game, and I think it might be one of those games where it's closer than the score is closer than the game actually is played.
I am so glad we switched up in the AFC because I was worried. Because since I have to make up ground here since I'm losing, I was worried I was going to have to take the Lions spread in this game as the difference. But thank God we switched up in that one because I'm taking the Niners too. I think that I'm with you. I think that spread's right about where it will be, 7 to 10 points. And like you said, it's going to seem closer by the score, but I do think yardage wise and everything else, ball control, I think Niners are going to take care of this one, especially at home.
Agreed. Taking the Niners.
That's it, Spinny. That's episode 88, man. That's the Marvin Harrison episode. The Tony Gonzalez episode. The not CeeDee Lamb episode.
The not CeeDee Lamb episode?
Yeah, we can't shout him out. Come on now.
We could call the CeeDee Lamb is better than Justin Jefferson episode if we were Cowboys fans.
What kind of ridiculous take is that? You know what? Hey, let's tie this in.
Skip Bayless take. Come on.
Let's do a quick Q&A. I'm gonna ask you this. After this season, we're gonna tie it into CeeDee Lamb here. After this elite season he had, like, let's not deny it. The dude went the hell off this year.
Yeah.
Where does CeeDee Lamb rank in the NFL at his position?
Taking Hill, taking Jefferson, taking Chase.
And then him. Is it not? I got him at 4 right there.
AJ Brown?
I'm putting Lamb ahead of him now after this season.
Devontae Adams. Putting Lamb, 2 ahead of him.
Yeah, I got Lamb ahead of those guys. Do you or no?
The AJ Brown argument is tough for me, but I think CeeDee's a top 5 receiver. I think that has pretty much been at least in the argument. You know, I might have him 5, maybe 6, but he's definitely catapulted into that top 5 category.
Yeah, he had like 130 catches, like 1,700 yards, and like 12 touchdowns. Like, wild season for CeeDee. He finally took that jump to be an elite WR1. We were kind of questioning that going into the season, saying that we've never really seen that out of him, which we hadn't up to this point. He balled out. He did his thing this year. That's for sure. All right, Spinny. That's episode 88, man. Hardy's Harlows. We appreciate y'all. Drop us likes, comments, subscribe if you somehow still haven't. Once again, appreciate y'all for listening in, and we will catch y'all next week.